ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಗಾಳಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಗೇಮ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ.
I want to do it lefty. Left arm also. The way he's doing it. Yeah. I don't know, the Chinaman or Austrian? I'm not sure. I think that's... Yeah, he was doing Chinaman and he was doing Austrian. I'll see. It's Chinaman. Full deep of Zimbabwe. Still, this guy looks like Zimbabwe. It is. No, dude, this is Austrian. It's not Chinaman. No, they just do that. Why?
I just want to test it.
Second only.
Very difficult.
He's just sending him back.
Sajjan. Everything okay?
Yeah, but when you go there, it's fast.
You need to make more closer. This is enough. Can? Camp 8. Let me take this one. Mate, I don't know. Mate working with Navin. Mate.
I can connect with CS.
Mate, I don't know.
Probably a dangerous ploy at the moment, with the ball turning away from the right-hander. Paris looking to play against the spin. Over mid. This is an excellent start from Zimbabwe. This time over covers. Excellent shot from the captain, Paris Katka. A much more sensible option, you'd have to say. And he finds the boundary, over covers. First boundary for the captain. There you go, the first shot over mid-wicket, misses. Did that once again, and the third time, sensible, went over the offside. Caught himself 4 useful runs, rotates the strike. For the first time, brings Arif Sheikh on strike now. From the little that I've heard of Arif Sheikh, when he gets going, he can score runs at a very fair clip, Tino, and he is very, very pleasing to the eye. Technically very sound as well.
Yeah, they've got a young bunch of exciting cricketers. Nepal, lots of experience, of course, playing T20 international cricket, because that's the majority of the cricket that they play. End of the third over, 10 for 1. But very exciting cricketers I've heard of, and looking forward to experiencing some of these young names that are upcoming in Nepal cricket. I'm pretty sure a wonderful platform for themselves, playing against a full member like Zimbabwe, to express themselves and maybe look at the benchmark that they may want to be as they continue in their careers.
Tino, you were obviously down in the centre right before the start of play. Talk to us a little bit about this ground here at the Indian Association. Well, the straight boundaries certainly seem to be a lot shorter than the square boundaries.
They are, definitely. I think people need to, one, take note of that, and two, possibly take advantage of that, especially in those first 6 overs. If you get a firm bat on the ball, back past the bowler, there's easy opportunities to get some boundary. Neville Matsiva to bowl the 4th over. Another young, exciting talent from Zimbabwe. Typical mould of the Zimbabwean seamers. One who doesn't have too much pace, likes to pitch the ball up. Gets the ball to swing around a little bit, nip a bit off the surface. Be interesting in these conditions, bit of humidity, how much he'll get that ball to swing early in the evening. Outside edge, past the man at slip. Ryan Brill, valiant effort, but that's going to go for 4. Just a bit of a wave shape that we were talking about. Away from the body, Paras Khadka. And those short boundaries we were talking about, once it got past that man, it slipped. Made its way down to the 3rd man boundary pretty quickly.
This must be exciting for people in Singapore. You know, just bringing international cricket to Singapore. There's a decent-sized Nepal community here as well, so great opportunity for them to come down and look at their local stars play in Singapore.
Absolutely. Short, that'll be called wide by the umpire. He is one that likes to use the short ball quite often. Neville Matsiva used the slow ball bouncer particularly well.
It's been some sort of an all-or-nothing sort of approach from the Nepali batsmen so far. They're either flashing hard or they're happy defending. And in the process have lost the 1 wicket, that of the debutant Ishan Pandey. Much better, a very disciplined effort from the Zimbabweans so far. They've been right on the buzzer, all 4 of them. Interesting tactics from the captain, Sean Williams. First 4 overs have seen 4 bowlers already.
Absolutely. Interesting approach by Sean Williams. Hamilton Masakadze used a similar approach in the last tri-series in Bangladesh, where he used several different bowlers early. I think the one game in total, he used 8 bowlers. So not afraid to ring the changes, and I think that's important for one Sean Williams in his capacity as captain for the first time with a young side. Give them the opportunity to express themselves. Bowling from Neville Matsiva, last couple of deliveries, he's seen that those pitched up deliveries, he's going after Paras Khadka. The last couple of balls, back of a length, not giving him that width outside the off stump.
Arif Sheikh on strike now. Hasn't had much of the strike. Just the one delivery in the couple of overs that he's been in the center. It's the captain, Paras Karka, who's been hogging all the limelight. Arif Sheikh, very talented young batsman from Nepal. An appeal for LBW. Well, the umpire not interested. And Arif Sheikh survives another over. 4 overs completed and Nepal 16 for 1.
That must have hit the inside edge. As soon as he went up, I thought this looks good.
Very interesting to see the replay. Very quick look at the scorecard thus far. Survives another over. 4 overs completed and Nepal 16 for 1. Must have hit the inside edge. As soon as he went up, I thought this looks good. Very interesting to see the replay. Very quick look at the scorecard. Well, we're going to resume with the 5th over, and it's going to be Tendai Chatara once again from the pavilion and bowling to the captain, Paras Katka. And a swing and a miss once again. Very interesting passage of play here. And the captain, he's either flashing hard or he's happy defending.
Absolutely.
Hasn't been working out very well thus far, you probably have to say.
Definitely one that likes the ball pitched up. Likes to go up and over the infield. A couple of times he's tried to clear that cover area. He hasn't got himself close to the ball. Good shape away from the right-hander from Chatara. Again, nicely bowled.
And you mentioned that, it almost looks like every single Zimbabwean fast bowler is a natural outswinger. Making use of the pace and the bounce, obviously, but there's a natural outswing away from the right-hander that's coming through quite well as well.
Majority of the Zimbabwean seamers are ones that take the ball away from the right-hander. Naturally, Kyle Jarvis, who's not here at the moment, does the same thing. Donald Tiripano, who's not part of this squad, is one who generally takes it away from the right-hander as well. Neville Madziva's possibly one who's got the ability to bring it back into the right-hander when the ball is still new. Cut away. Down to the man at 3rd one. Just the single.
For everyone wanting to watch live coverage of the Singapore Tri-Nations T20I series brought to you by Instagram, my apologies. You can certainly tune into VC Sports. You can also tune into the fan code app from Dream 11 as well to give live visuals of this tournament. And needless to say, from the Singapore Cricket Association on the Facebook handle as well. There's also Willow HD TV.
Bit reckless. I think this from Nepal batters. Yes, it is the first 6 overs and you're looking to get as many boundaries especially as possible. At the same time, you need to make sure that in between that, you are getting singles, getting your 2s, rotating the strike. Otherwise, you find that you're not getting those boundaries. You keep trying to hit them, create opportunities, lose wickets, and at the end of it all, you've achieved needed the boundaries that you wanted to, or kept wickets in hand for later on in the innings.
Well, in that they pushed Bangladesh, they pushed Afghanistan, and very rightly so, got that win in that final game.
Nicely played. Yeah, it was a good win, that last one. For your own information, that's the first time that Zimbabwe has beaten Afghanistan in a T20 international. That's in 8 attempts, 9 attempts. So that would have been good for them. But certainly, earlier on, as we've come to the end of the 5th over, 18 for 1 now, Nepal. The first game against Bangladesh, they lost with 2 balls to spare. Again, a really good encounter. cricketers chipping in, bat and ball, and you just didn't feel that they did that consistently enough as a unit, and that's why they didn't quite get the results they wanted. But had they won that first game against Bangladesh, who knows, they could have made that final. Unfortunately, the rain came down for the final, not a ball was bowled.
It's going to be Neville Madziva once again to resume from the far end, and it's out of Sheikh on strike. Fantastic shot, over point. It races away to the point boundary for 4 handsome runs. Good looking shot there from Arif, and a much needed boundary for the Nepal team. Races to 22 for 1 into the 6th over. Good looking shot that.
It's a nice shot. Got the indication earlier over when he was trying to cut Tendai Chatara that it's an area that he likes. Typical of the shorter batsmen in international cricket. Majority of them very strong, and in particular on the offside square of the wicket.
And this is much better from the Nepal batsman. You don't want to be reckless early on in the innings, showing the bowler the respect that he deserves. Confident looking punch off the back foot to covers. Doesn't mind the odd dot ball. They'll get the runs. Definitely a fast outfield, a good batting wicket. They need to hang in there.
And just talking about the outfield, other than quick single, that's good fielding, but I think he's going to be home comfortably. And the umpire.
For all our viewers watching live telecast of this tournament, tell us a little bit about this Zimbabwe team. Who are the men to watch out for? We obviously saw some of them play some excellent cricket in Bangladesh in the recently concluded Tri-Series. Talk to us about this new look young side that we have.
Well, we can start with the bowlers. Definitely Tendai Chatara, who we've seen already earlier on. Short ball, he'll just get one. Tendai Chatara definitely one to look out for. Been a consistent performer for Zimbabwe with the ball. Had a horrific leg injury a couple of years ago. Kept him out of the game for about a year, but has worked hard. Regained his fitness. Lost a bit of pace, but still the same consistent good bowler. Wellington Masakadza, left arm spinner who we saw opening earlier. One of the younger bowlers coming in. There's Richard Ngarava, who's not taking part in today's game. You would have seen him in international cricket before. Big left arm bowler, takes the ball across the right hander. There's young Tony Munyonga, all round cricketer, off spin bowler, decent middle to low order batsman. Had a wonderful domestic season last year in 50 over cricket. PJ Moore, who wasn't in Bangladesh for the Tri-Series, he comes back into the team for this tour.
Excellent pace on display here from Madziva. Good assistance from the pitch as well.
They are indeed. Richmond Mtumbabi, who's got the gloves on today, taking over from Brendan Taylor. He's obviously gone back home. He's had a wonderful season back home with the bat last season, getting a recall into the national team. Half century against Bangladesh in the second game in Chittagong. Good shot, good shot.
Excellent finish to the 6th over. We come to the end of the power play with an exquisite drive by the captain, Paras Kaka. Much better from the captain, you'd have to say. Contact, and the score at the end of the power play, 30 for 1, Nepal.
He definitely likes going over that extra cover area. Tried to play that shot a couple of times. He moves on to 17 from 19, and he hasn't quite been able to get that away. But this time, good connection by Paras Katka. Zimbabwean bowlers should really be able to pick up early that that's the area that he's looking to score. Now that it's the power play done, he can block that area, make sure they possibly bowl just back of a length into the batsman, not give him the freedom to free his arms through that offside.
He was quick to adapt. He knew that he realized that the leg side was not rewarding enough. Started to play more on the offside, giving him a couple of boundaries already in a short stint. So much better from the captain. What's going to make this series also very interesting, very intriguing is the fact that it's a battle between three very evenly balanced teams. You'd probably have to say, Tino, difficult to pick one from these three teams. Tough to predict a winner. That's going to make it interesting.
Yeah, and I have to reiterate the fact that Singapore and Nepal are very accustomed to T20 international cricket. Play a lot more of it than the Zimbabwean side. We talk about the experience. You'll have to put Zimbabwe at the top, of course. They've got seasoned cricketers who've played for a long time, even though they have a lot of youth taking part in the side. I hadn't talked about Ryan Burl. He had pretty decent tournament himself in Bangladesh. Big appeal, sliding down the leg side. Got his first half century in T20 international cricket against Bangladesh in the first encounter between the two teams in Dhaka.
He had a happy outing in Bangladesh with the bat, with the ball, contributing with the ball as well.
Absolutely.
Confident. And he's happy playing. Against a run of play. A soft dismissal there. Looked to turn it away on the leg side. Top edge. Loops straight back to the bowler. And Wellington Mazakatsa picks one up.
Yeah, that's just stopped on the surface. Looking to punch that through the onside. Arif Sheikh, unfortunately, just gripping in the surface. Holding up a little bit. And easy return catch to Wellington Masakadza. He gets his first wicket.
Surely not the commentator's curse, Tino.
I'd have to say it's the commentator's curse. Navneet, unfortunately, Arif Sheikh, he's gone for 8 from 11. Nepal now 32 for 2.
In comes the newly appointed vice captain of the Nepal team, Dipendra Singh Airi. Well, I saw a little bit of him at the Everest Premier League late last year, Tino, and he is quite a talented all-rounder, especially with the bat, stylish as it comes. And with Gyanendra Malla, Sharat Vesavkar, Basant Regmi, some of the senior names of this Nepal team missing, very rightly so, Dipendra Singh Airi appointed as the vice captain to the Nepal side. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes about his business. Captain and vice captain in the center. Well, the Nepal fans absolutely love their cricket, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be watching this live telecast in big numbers. Hang on, is that a wicket? They're appealing, I'm not too sure for what. Was that an LBW appeal?
No, I think it's an appeal for the catch, which is why Ryan Burl is not happy with the umpires. He'll definitely feel that he's taken this one comfortably, and he has. Now, I don't understand why the he's given out. That's extraordinary.
It was very hard to make out if that came off the bat, you know. What is that? All right, for the very first time, we have Ryan Burl from the far end bowling some leg spin. He had a very impressive outing in Bangladesh. Will certainly be full of confidence. Swept well by Dipendra Singh Airi, and rightly so, gets himself 4 handsome runs there. Excellent looking shot. He loves playing the sweep shot, does Dipendra Singh Airi. short in length, and he puts it away comfortably on the leg side.
He's put that away nicely. Ryan Burl did bowl a few overs in Bangladesh. The problem that he had, especially coming on in his first over, was the fact that he bowled too short. Again, another short delivery. When you're playing against the top players that they came against in Bangladesh and the Afghanistan batsmen, they put him away with ease. So a bit expensive, and just something that he's got to work on, I think. Just getting that length right when he first comes on to bowl, Ryan Burl.
He was shot on the second ball as well, but my God, did it turn. Spun a mile.
Short again in the air. And gone. That's a good catch from Wellington Masakadza running in from the cow corner boundary. Horace Kapka will be disappointed because this is really short. And an opportunity to score, but I think it's just held on the surface and turned again. Like you were talking about the previous delivery, and that's a really smart catch from Wellington Masakadza.
Well, he was living pretty dangerously, was the captain, Paras Katka. Not the kind of shot that he would want to get himself out in, but excellent outfield catch there by Zimbabwe. Gets them their third wicket, and 38 for 3 now, and it's advantage Zimbabwe. Ryan Burl will be very lucky getting himself a wicket, and that too of the captain, on what he would consider as an absolute rank long hop. And mind you, if there's anyone who would be watching this very closely, Tino, it's going to be Sandeep Lamichhane. He's going to be licking his lips. He can spin it a mile.
He certainly will. That's what surprised me at the toss when Sean Williams said that he would have bowled regardless as well. Now it's a very dry surface and we expected the ball to grip and turn, and I'm pretty sure because there's no grass on the surface, it's going to have quite a bit of rough created, even though it's just a 40 over game. And later on, as you say, Lamichhane is possibly going to be getting the ball to turn a fair bit as well. But an important wicket for Zimbabwe nonetheless. 38 for 3. Nepal.
We saw one debutant open the innings for Nepal. Guess what? Kushal Malla is also debuting for Nepal in this game, Tino. So exciting. Just in terms of the future of Nepal cricket, they have fantastic talent coming through the ranks.
Churning out a lot of cricketers. That's really important for any developing country. Oh, big shot. Not smart. End of the 8th, 38 for 3.
Eight overs completed, Nepal 38 for 3. You probably have to say it's advantage Zimbabwe at the moment with 2 overs left for the halfway mark. 3 crucial wickets, and that too, that of the captain is going to give them a plenty of confidence.
Another new bowler, Tino Mtombodzi, another leg spinner. Amazing how many young leg spinners are coming out of Zimbabwe. Timson Maruma, when he started his career, actually came onto the scene more as a leg spin bowler with a really good googly as opposed to a batter. Now, obviously, picked for his exploits with the bat first. But they're roughly about the same age. There's another one, Natsai Mshangwe, who's represented Zimbabwe as well. All in the same age group. It's rather surprising to find so many young leg spinners sprouting out at Zimbabwe at that time, when in particular There weren't very many others in the country in the national team. Graham Creamer, of course, will be the last world-class leg spinner you could refer to from Zimbabwe.
It almost feels like there's something in the pitch for everybody, for the leg spinner, the off spinner, the medium pacers as well. We saw plenty of bounce, pace and swing for the fast bowlers, and obviously plenty of spin on offer as well for the spinners. And even from the batsman's perspective, if they hang in there, they certainly can play through the line, and there is value for their shots as well. All in all, a good pitch, you'd have to say.
Cut away. Just be the one to the man on the extra cover boundary. Yeah, the seamers have certainly got the ball to come onto the bat. Saw some good bounce when Neville Madziva tried to bowl the shorter balls. Our real concern is just how much will it be turning in that second innings. We talk about T20 pitches being more batsman friendly and not doing too much with the ball and not changing so much because it's such a short game. But definitely, I think some concern in terms of the ball turning off the surface. Good effort from Tendai Chatara, definitely saving a couple of runs for Zimbabwe there.
What's interesting to note is both the spinners and the medium pacers have decided to go short rather than full. Could that also be because of the very short straight boundaries as well? Because you don't want to be bowling full and giving easy opportunities for the batsman to play straight.
I'd have to agree with that. Those dimensions is something that all the teams so far have been talking about. End of the 9th over, 41 for 3 Nepal. And that's definitely something that would be in the back of the bowler's mind. If they're going to get boundaries, rather let them get those boundaries square of the wicket, where you've got a bit more protection in terms of distance to the boundary. Because even if you've got the long on and the long off back on the boundary, if the batsman backs himself and gets a good connection, he can clear the boundary comfortably.
Just a little bit about this Nepal team, Tino. We noticed plenty of this during the Everest Premier League as well. They have this tendency to produce quite literally a factory of spinners, especially left-arm spinners. Having said that, they have, I'm going to come back to you right after this delivery, Ryan Burl to continue from the far end.
Adventurous.
Very adventurous. And value for money, no fielder there, gets himself 4 runs. Excellent shot from the vice captain, Dipendra Singh Ivy there. Another look at it. Comes around for the switch hit, makes good contact. Nobody in the boundary line, 1 bounce over the boundary. 4 valuable runs into the 40s.
Good comeback from Ryan Burl.
Coming back to what I was saying, Tino, especially the Nepal team, they have fantastic bowlers coming through the ranks, spinners and medium pacers as well. But it's the batting department that probably needs a little more application then. He tries that again, and guess what? 4 more. Very, very interesting tactics here from Dipendra Singh Ivy. Another switch hit, another boundary, and this is going to make the captain think. Will Sean Williams change his field? 2 switch hits have resulted in 2 boundaries.
Wow, it's obviously a shot that he plays well. The one before this, he went up and over that man at backward point, this time along the ground. Value for his shots. And this time, he plays the conventional sweep. And that's gone for 4 as well. So Ryan Burl just taking a bit of stick here. But definitely doesn't mind playing the crossbat shots to the spinners. Played the reverse twice, this time conventional sweep, nobody back at deep backward square, and gets another boundary.
Yeah, Dipendra Singh Airi looking very, very confident. 20 of just 13 deliveries. He got off the mark with a confident-looking sweep shot. And with 3 boundaries in this over, he's making Sean Williams and Ryan Burl think they need to think fast, because much better. Just the single on this occasion. And it's already 13 off this over with 1 delivery left. It's the batting department that Nepal have struggled in the recent past. They seem to have plenty of options with the ball. And it's opportunities like this, in tournaments like this, that give the batsmen enough to do and give the confidence to the bowlers that we can do it with the bat as well. Off the back foot to the sweeper cover fielder, just one off the last ball, right at the halfway mark. 10 overs completed, Nepal 55 for 3. Sean Williams. Big hit, big hit. Has that cleared the boundary line? There's 2 fielders there. Wicket number 4 for Zimbabwe. Excellent catch in the deep. They've taken their catches, and this time it was Wellington Mazakatsa not making any mistake. Kushal Mullah. That was the long side off the ground. He had to connect well to clear the boundary. Couldn't do that on this occasion. And it's wicket number 4 right at the halfway mark for Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwe continue to dominate the little that we've seen in match number 1 of the Singapore Tri-Nations T20I, brought to you by Instarem. Not making any mistake. Kushal Mullah. That was the It's going to be Sandeep Johra, the new batsman for Nepal, 55 for 4 into the 11th over. Captain Sean Williams picks up a wicket in his first delivery in his second over. The left-handed Kushal Mullah was hoping to clear the deep mid-wicket region, only to find Wellington Mazakatsa. Excellent catch. Another sweep. Thankfully no fielder there, and Sandeep Johra starts off with 2 runs. Zimbabwe have been right on the buzzer with the ball in hand, and they've been excellent on the field as well. And they've been rewarded with 4 wickets, 57 for 4 now into the 11th over. He's been the standout for Nepal as Dipendra Singh Airi. Switch it once again. Very fortunate on this occasion. He missed, couldn't make contact with the ball. Manages to get off strike, and that brings Sandeep Johra on strike for the first time.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to go up and over again, and possibly just lifted the head. Didn't keep his eyes on the ball for as long as he possibly could have. And that's probably why he didn't get bat onto ball. Sandeep Johra at the crease. Wonderfully bowled by Sean Williams. Has that ability to get the ball to turn, whether he's given it air or not, and that's what makes him so difficult to face sometimes. And then he's got one that slides onto the bat as well.
Sandeep Johra made his debut for Nepal earlier this year against UAE. Certainly can hit the ball a long way, and they will need him to bat right up till the very end if Nepal will have to put up a competitive total, because right now it certainly is Zimbabwe with the advantage. We're coming to the end of the 11th over, 59 for 4 now. And barring Dipendra Singh Airi's innings, Nepal have been pretty ordinary with the bat this evening.
This is better. This is much better. When they're not able to get the boundaries that they're looking for, make sure that you get yourself to the other side. Those singles count. End of the 11th, 60 for 4.
Very quick look once again at the scorecard for Nepal. Debutant Ishan Pandey could only manage the 4 runs. Flashed hard at a ball outside off stump. Unfortunately went down the throat of third man. The captain Paras Kadka flashed at 1 too many. Was lucky enough to get 18 runs. Arif Sheikh looked pretty decent for his 8. An excellent catch by Wellington Mazakatsa. And Dipendra Singh Airi, well, he's been the standout for Nepal. 25 of 17, he's been sweeping and sweeping comfortably. He's going to be on strike over number 11, and it's going to be Wellington Mazakatsa to continue for the first time from the far end. Good figures so far. 7 for 1 in the 2 overs that he's bowled. Down the track. They pinch a single. It's a very good bowling from the Zimbabwean spinner Sean Williams, the captain from the pavilion end, and now Mazakatsa from the far end. They've been very disciplined there and thereabouts at the off-stump mark, so you want to make the batsman play. Any mistake from the batsman?
Talking about the Zimbabwean spinners and doing well, the left-arm spinners in particular. Wellington Mazakatsa, very adept in this version of the game, gets through his overs quickly. Quite often gets the batsman to hit the ball where he wants him to, which means a lot less in terms of boundaries. That one again, just holding in the surface, and work from the captain Sean Williams at cover. But before you know it, he's bowled 4 or 5 balls in the over. You guys haven't got a boundary, a couple of singles, and quite often because of that, creates pressure for the batsman, and often the other end is where the wickets come from.
We're into the 12th over, just 1 delivery left in the 12th over, 63 for 4 Nepal. Short ball, a miss from the keeper. They'll be lucky enough to get 4 runs, Nepal. We come to the end of the 12th over, and Nepal lucky enough to get 4 runs there, 67 for 4, with Dipendra Singh Airi batting on 27. They still have Karan Casey in the ranks, and he can tonk it, mind you. He can certainly hit the long ball, and we saw him do plenty of that in the Everest Premier League late last year. Karan Casey can strike it at a good rate, and he's very valuable with the ball in hand as well. So he's certainly one of the all-rounders to watch out for, and in the second half of the innings, Karan Casey will certainly be itching to get out to the centre. But they still have to contend with Sean Williams and Mazakatsa, who've been bowling some fantastic overs of spin.
Lower down the game. Lower down the game. Can sound game. Keep lower down. Little bit more. Little bit more down. No, down. More.
Nepal will be hoping that Dipendra Singh can bat through these next few overs. Gone down for the sweep shot again. Quicker delivery from Sean Williams, and really was just a case of helping that ball on its way. Sandeep Johra. Sean Williams looking to fire this one in. Looked like he had already decided he was going to play the sweep shot. Was inside the line of the ball and just helped that on its way to the boundary.
That's the 5th boundary he's got himself by playing the sweet shot. Really has been a Dipendra Singh ID show all through this evening for Nepal. Sean Williams has been happy to pretty much bowl it there and thereabouts at the off stump line, and he's hoping that the batsmen commit the mistakes.
I think the case has been for the Zimbabwean bowlers a fact of just getting the ball in the right area, because the batsmen are trying to get boundaries. You'll be disappointed with that one. Wellington Masakadza, he's normally got really good hands. And that there was an opportunity for Zimbabwe to get another wicket, just as I was talking about, the fact that they just kept the ball in the right area for long enough. And the Nepal batsmen are looking to get after them. And once you bowl 2 or 3 dots in the over, you know that something is bound to give from the Nepal batsmen. It's an opportunity there to get the 5th wicket. They'll be disappointed. Zimbabwe.
That was exactly what happened on this occasion. A couple of dot balls, and Sandeep Johra was looking for that expansive shot. Unfortunately, Sean Williams not getting the kind of support that he would have liked. Wellington Masakatsa should have taken that, and that should have been wicket number 5 for Zimbabwe. 13 overs completed, 7 to go. Nepal 74 for 4. So there's obviously Karan Casey, the wicketkeeper Vinod Bandari, Sompal Kami, talented all-rounder, a spinning sensation, Sandeep Lamichane. And you certainly want to watch out for Avinash Bora. He is the Lasit Malinga of Nepal cricket. Slingy action, loves bowling those Yorkers, and someone that the Zimbabwean top order will have to watch out for.
Wellington Masakadza to bowl his 4th and final over. He's been pretty decent. 1 for 14 are his figures.
What do you reckon is a decent total on this pitch, having seen 13 overs off it, Around the 130 mark, 140 mark, you'd say?
Yeah, we've talked about most straight boundaries with a short. So you would like to believe that you'll be able to defend a lot more than that. I don't think that Nepal have gone about this innings in the best manner they could have. Yes, it's important to try and get a good start, but in as much as you're trying to do that, you need to make sure that if you're not getting those boundaries, you're still rotating some strike. They didn't do that, and it's been a bit of a hit or miss scenario for their batsmen. 130 for me on a surface like this, I definitely think is not enough.
And to be honest, they'll need to play well from here to get that 130 as well.
Absolutely. I think if you look at the Zimbabwean batting lineup, the and some of the cricket that we saw from them in the last couple of weeks in Bangladesh, they'll want to get at least 170, 180 to be able to defend that. However, the surface does look like it will assist the spinners, and we know how good their spinners are. Lamichhane in particular, we've talked about him. I think here, if they want to give themselves a chance, 150 must be a bare minimum.
Very disciplined effort from the two left-arm spinners from Zimbabwe, Wellington Mazakatsa and the captain Sean Williams. Pretty much nothing in the 7 to 8 overs that they've been bowling. 18 for 1 with just one delivery left in Mazakatsa's spell. And now it's the two Nepali batsmen who are trying to force the issue because they're running out of time. Very smart from Sean Williams this time. He has the fielder placed exactly for that shot from Dipendra Singh Airi. Just the one on this occasion. 14 overs completed and Nepal are 79 for 4. All right, with just 6 overs left in the first innings, time for a little change in the commentary box. It's time to get the batting coach of the Zimbabwe team, Stuart Matsakaneri, and Tino's going to be talking to him to get a little sense about this young and talented Zimbabwean team. Stuart, welcome to Singapore. Thank you so much. Tino, over to you.
Thank you, Navneet. Just as we start the 15th over, 79 for 4, Nepal. Stewie, thank you very much for joining us. First of all, how's been your stay in Singapore?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tino. Singapore has been good. We've been... The welcome here has been really good. The Singapore guys are really looking after us, so we've enjoyed it so far. And obviously, to start off now, to get going with the cricket is even better.
Obviously, coming from the tour of Bangladesh, where registered a win in the last game against Afghanistan. We see that sweep shot being employed again by the batsman from Nepal, Jora. Gets another boundary. Just talk to us a little bit about the team. Obviously, senior guns have gone home, the majority of them, and a lot of youth, and it's mixing with the experience. Your thoughts on some of those younger players coming into the side and their contribution to the team?
Yeah, obviously, you know, with where we are at this stage, the next big thing for Zimbabwe in the future is obviously the 2023 World Cup. So with a view of building up to that, the selectors have decided to go with a much younger group of players. So the idea is to have them play as much, to get them exposed as much as possible, that they learn their lessons right now, and then, you know, in the next couple of years, we're looking to have a really strong international side out.
Yeah, of course, Zimbabwe will be missing out on the World T20 qualifiers, but as you say, really important for the team to build towards that next World Cup. Obviously, you're in charge of the batting department. Any young up-and-coming names that have joined the team for this tour?
Yeah, like you say, my job is mainly with the batting, and yes, we do have some exciting talent that is onshore today. Like Brian Chari is just playing his first T20 international today, so a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to. We've got young Tony Munyonga, who's also in the side as an all-rounder. He's got quite a lot to offer with the bat. Obviously, in the last tour of Bangladesh, you would have got to see Tino Mtombodzi and Timisen Maruma making a comeback, young in as far as games are concerned. Yeah, so the future is looking really good. Obviously, Brian Bow played really well in Bangladesh. Looking for more performances from him, but yeah, we've got a lot of exciting guys coming up.
Thanks, Stewie. 15 overs gone, 88 for 4. So, beginning of the 16th over, Nepal 88 for 4. I'm enjoined in the commentary box by former Zimbabwe international Stuart Matsikinyeri, now looking after the batting department for the Zimbabwe team. Stuart, you made mention just now about Ryan Burl, who obviously had a pretty impressive tour of Bangladesh, his first half century in T20 international cricket. We've lost the services of Hamilton Masakadza coming to the end of his career on this last tour, but a few other batsmen who you'll feel will be able to replace the likes of Hamilton in the middle order. Ryan Ball, you've talked about. Richmond Mutumbani, he had a really good season last year domestically. Coming in, he got a half century there as well. Sinotenda Mtombodzi, who had a really good partnership with Ryan Burl in one of the games there, all showing that they can make the step up to international cricket. And, you know, the future looks bright in terms of middle order, top to middle order batsmen who can do the job for Zimbabwe.
Yeah, Tino, like you said there, we've got decent stocks in as far as middle order batsmen are concerned, and guys that have already been exposed at some level. But obviously with Hamilton leaving the international game, as well as Solomon Mire, who retired during our tour of Europe, it has left quite a gap at the top. So this is where we now, as a betting department, we've got to work hard to get some openers coming up.
In the air, and a good catch from Regis Chakaba eventually. So Zimbabwe gets another wicket. Neville Madziva this time using the short ball, getting onto the batsman rather quickly. All he managed to do was just get the top edge. Regis Chakaba taking a decent catch in the end. So another wicket falls for Nepal. The fifth one, that is. 89 for 5 now. Neville Madziva getting his first wicket of the day. Cut away. Just be the single. Stewie, you were talking to us about replacements for the top order batsmen.
Yeah, I was saying with Hamilton and Solomire having left the international game, we now have to, there's some opportunities there for guys to step up. So obviously on this tour we've got Brian Chari, who has opened the batting for Zimbabwe at test level, and a couple of one-day internationals, so he will be looking to cement that place as we go forward. But with him we've also got Regis Chakava, some guys that are not on this tour. There's a Tinashika Munukangwe who's also played a couple of internationals. Kevin Kasuza, who's been in the franchise setup for a while. We've also got a young Tafadzwa Tsiga, who's shown some promise. So I'm sure the selectors will be looking at those guys and looking to fill those shoes going forward.
That'll be called wide from Neville Madziwa. He is one who normally uses the slow ball bouncer, especially at this stage of a T20 innings towards the end. This time, just a little bit too short. Umpire calling that wide. And Stewie, there's been talk of Zimbabwe cricket wanting to get as much cricket as they can for the team. Sometimes, some dry periods of months without international cricket. How important is a series like this for, one, the amount of game time that the players can have and blooding these young new batsmen into the team and getting them performing at international level?
Without a doubt, it is very important for us to be out and playing cricket as much as possible. You will find, if you look back in the last couple of years, you'll find that we always kind of pick up towards the back end of a series, as it were. So, if we get the guys playing consistent cricket, you won't have to be doing catch up during series and things like that. And also obviously without a doubt, just gaining a lot more experience for especially the younger guys. It's golden. So I'm sure Zimbabwe cricket will be doing all they can to make sure that the guys are playing a lot.
Right, the end of the 16th over, Nepal 94 for 5. Sean Williams to continue. Oh, nicely bowled. 1 for 17 from his 3.1 overs. We've had the pleasure over the last couple of overs of having Stuart Matikinyeri, the Zimbabwe batting coach, with us in the commentary box. Stewie, one more question for you before you go. What do you feel you're happy chasing on the surface?
Yeah, good question. We weren't sure. Obviously, we haven't played. Yeah, but looking at the wicket, we definitely thought there would be a lot more runs than what is on the board at the moment. But it does seem to be taking a lot of turn. So we would have been happy chasing something around the 140 region.
All right, Stewie, all the best, and we'll hope to have a bit more of you in the commentary box as the tournament progresses.
Cheers, thanks, Tino.
And as Stewie goes, 6 wicket falls for Nepal. Ireed was in top form, 40 from 32 for him. Nepal now are reduced to 95 for 6.
They needed the set batsman to be in the centre right up till the very end. Dipendra Singh Irie getting out pretty much at exactly the wrong time. 40 valuable runs of just 32 deliveries.
What Zimbabwe will want to get many runs in this last 3.5 overs. Any new batsman at the crease is gold for the fielding side. And Zimbabwe will really want to get these last 4 wickets as quickly as possible and wrap up this innings. They won't want to bowl out these 20 overs. Big heave-ho. Again, turn for Sean Williams. Could be a concern for the Zimbabwean batsman in the second innings of this game. Sumpal Kami, the new man at the crease, and straight away looking to get on with things.
Yeah, it's sort of been the characteristic of this Nepal batting lineup all through the day. They've swung and swung hard at pretty much everything. It's been all or nothing, and that, I think, has led to Nepal putting up a very ordinary total at the moment. 95 for 6, Sompal Kami and Binod Bandari, the two men in the center. This is an excellent spell of off-spin bowling from the captain, Sean Williams. 18 runs, just one delivery left in his spell. A very disciplined effort, you'd have to say. Finishes it off with just a single, which means 19 of his spell of 4 overs, and you'll take that any day in a T20 game. And along with Wellington Mazakatsa, these two boys have contributed with 8 valuable overs so for Zimbabwe. 17 overs completed, and Nepal 95 for 6. The advantage that Zimbabwe obviously have going into the second innings is that they know what they're going to be chasing. Nepal probably thought there was a lot more on offer on this pitch. They went hard at in what would probably be a run-a-ball chase at best, you know. That would mean 25 in the final 3 overs.
Yeah, these final overs are going to be very difficult, I think, for Nepal. They don't have a set batsman at the crease. 2 men at the crease, 2 new men. Single down to the man at fine leg. That's going to be very tricky for them to get any sort of momentum going into these last few overs. They do manage to get 25 in these last 3 overs. I think they've done a pretty decent job.
Yeah, but the big question is 120 enough on this track? This is match number 1. So obviously going to be very interesting to see how the pitch plays out in the second innings. Not too sure if it's going to be any different from what we've seen in the first 20 overs, Tino, but with that being said, Nepal have an excellent lineup of spinners. They do have a talented bowling lineup.
That's the thing. I think if they can get themselves to 120, and if they get early wickets in the Zimbabwean innings, then they'll give themselves the best chance.
Short ball. Looks to pull it down the leg side. Couldn't make contact. Good pace on offer there for Tendai Chatara. And Sompal Kami misses out. Very interesting that Karan Casey is still in the dugout. We've seen him play some fantastic knocks in the final few overs, especially in the Everest Premier League. He can certainly play the long ball. Should he have been in the center at the moment? That's the big question. But Tendai Chatara, 2.5 overs for just the 5 runs. Excellent bowling here from Zimbabwe. A swing. There's a fielder at mid-wicket there. Goes over mid-wicket. And what is the first 6 of the evening? Excellent shot from Sompal Kami. Made good contact right out of the meat of the bat. And there was a fielder at the boundary line. But he clears deep mid-wicket. And the first boundary, the first big 6 of the innings.
That was a good connection. Tendai Chatara has bowling length, which is dangerous at this stage of the innings. The batsman looking to get after the bowling. Must allow him to get under the ball. They've got to get that Yorker length fuller, better. Even though it was a full toss. Quick is Wellington Masakadza, but so are the Nepal batsmen and come back for 2.
Excellent piece of running there, Sompal Kami and Binod Bandari. Sompal Kami quick to turn around and come back for the second. A shot, a low full toss that was. Did well to convert it to 2 runs. This is the kind of over that Nepal needed to get that little bit of that impetus, that momentum that they're looking for at this stage of the innings. 106 for 6, just 1 ball remaining in the 18th over. Another short ball. Pulls it again. Two fielders in the boundary line. Just falls short.
Timson Maruma.
And 2 more runs to Nepal. Well, it's all happening in the center. A very successful over for Nepal. 12 runs off it, 18 overs completed, 108 for 6 with just 2 left. A very quick reminder to everyone tuning in, you have plenty of options to tune into live coverage of the Tri-Series here from Singapore, brought to you by Instarem. You certainly can find live action at VC Sports. The Singapore Cricket Association's handle on Facebook can give you live footage of the coverage here from the Singapore Indian Association as well. You can also tune into the fan code app by Dream11, and Velo TV will be showing live telecast as well, so plenty of options to tune in. Zimbabweans won't be complaining too much about an expensive 18th over, because at the moment it's pretty much run a ball for Nepal. 108 for 6 in 18 with just 2 to go. And a slower one there. Just a single for Binod Bhandari, and he brings Sompal Kami back on strike, who's been striking it well. 12 of 8 for Sompal Kami now.
He's definitely shown that likes to take on that leg side boundary. Sompal Kami. Strike rate's over 150 at the moment. So definitely one who can get on with things at this stage of the innings. Low full toss from Neville Madziwa. Must have been an inside edge.
Certainly an opportunity to get more runs. There was a low full toss on the leg side and plenty of spaces in the leg side. Just 2 in the boundary line. In fact, 3 on the boundary line. No one in the 30-yard circle in front of the wicket. And Sompal Kami will feel that he missed out. We have 2 behind the wicket on either side. Short third man and short fine leg. There's backward point as well, and there's mid-off, with the rest all on the boundary line. Another slower one, a swing and a miss.
I did talk about him being a good exponent of the slow ball. He uses the slow ball bouncer, uses the slow ball in general, both the off spinner and out the back of the hand. Important skills to have, especially at this stage of a T20 innings. That'll be called wide by Neville Madziwa. Not happy with that. Not much you can do about it when the umpire has made his call.
Well, there certainly is a visible change in his bowling action and the speed at which he runs in, especially when he's bowling the slower one, Tino. So probably something for the batsman to watch out for.
Indeed. Quite often bowlers do give away something when they change. Oh, that's the slow ball bouncer. Really nicely bowled by Neville Madziwa.
It's been a good over so far. Just the 3 runs. The first 4 deliveries, keeping in mind that this is the penultimate over of the innings. Zimbabwe will take this. Nelson on the scoreboard, 111 for 6. 8 deliveries left. Sompal Kami and Binod Bhandari on strike now. Full toss once again, put away. Poor delivery there from Madziwa. Full toss on leg stump, asking to be hit, and Binod Bhandari puts that away for 4 runs. Was a disciplined effort with the ball so far.
This is what Zimbabwe struggled with in Bangladesh. Quite often, early wickets, we talked about Tendai Chatara providing that for them. The problem they got was that their skills weren't up to scratch in the last segment of the innings, and quite often lots of low full tosses. We've seen a couple already in this over from Madziva, and length deliveries that were punished. Slow ball bouncer again.
It was probably tempting the umpire to signal wide once again, but that is the end of the penultimate over of the first innings. Nepal 115 for 6 with just 6 balls to play. We're coming towards the end of the first innings of match number 1 of the Singapore Tri-Nation T20I series, brought to you by Instagram. Match number 1, Zimbabwe versus Nepal, with the host Singapore slated to be in action tomorrow. You're watching live coverage from the Indian Association here in Singapore. And it's going to be Tendai Chatara to finish off the first innings. 3 overs, 1 for 15 thus far. Full toss. There's a man in the deep there. 6 runs to start off the final over. Excellent shot there from Sompal Kami. And that's 6 number 2.
Yeah, you cannot afford to be bowling to Sompal Kami in this area. Low full toss from Tendai Chatara. Once again, talking about too many full tosses from the Zimbabwean bowlers at the end. We said that 120 would be a good effort if they got there. Now 121. Now for 6 with 5 balls to go in the innings, so good effort.
Another full toss. Make that 6 number 3. And guess what? A no ball signaled by the umpire. Suddenly a shift in momentum. Nepal are piling on the runs in the final couple of overs. 3 sixes in the last 7 deliveries. An erratic from the Zimbabwean bowlers.
Yeah, the Zimbabwean bowlers need to be unhappy about the manner in which they've gone these last couple of overs. Spinners have been particularly good, and so too were the seamers in the beginning part of this innings. At the moment, they are just getting a bit reckless and allowing Nepal to claw back into this innings. Sompal Kami has been brilliant in the last few overs. 25 from 11 he's moved on to. Bandari supporting him well. 9 from 10. He's just making sure he's
Off the free hit. 25 of 12. How valuable is this innings from Sompal Kami right at the very end? Suddenly turning it around for Nepal here. And that'll be the much needed momentum that they were looking for going into the end of the first innings. Another short ball. A quick delivery from Tendai Chatara. Sompal Kami looking for that pull once again. It was just too quick for him on this occasion. Another dot ball.
This is a better delivery. He's gone on purpose.
About the scoreboard at the moment, but another short ball, another pull, misses out once again, but they did well to steal a single there. Binod Bandari was on his toes, and he gets himself on strike. Just 2 deliveries left. A good comeback from Tendai Chatara here. 13 runs conceded in the first 2 deliveries, and he's conceded just the 2 in the last 3. With just 2 deliveries left, 129 on the board. Suddenly Nepal will feel they might just have enough, something to fight for.
Yeah, Chatara realized that Kami was possibly not so adept with the short ball. He used that a couple of times to him and got away with it. This one is slapped to the mid-wicket boundary. Good work from Wellington Masakadza. Come back for 2. Nepal, 151 with a ball to go in the innings.
131 for 6. 1 delivery left in the final over. First innings of match number 1. And Nepal will be pretty happy with how they're closing this innings off.
It's yellow. Sorry.
Right, one final time. It's Tendai Chatara to Binod Bandari. Here we go. A swing and a miss once again. Binod Bandari stakes a single. And that is the end of the first innings. Nepal versus Zimbabwe, and at 132 for 6. Zimbabwe will come out in a 20-minute slot, and they're going to be chasing 133 for victory in match number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching live coverage of the Singapore Tri-Series, brought to you by performance by the Nepal team with the bat team.
Yeah, I think they'll be happy that they ended up on 132 for 6. I mean, just look at that scorecard. Not very many scores at the beginning. It was Irie, the vice captain, who came in with a good hand, 40 from 33, and then Sandeep Jora, good partnership with him, 17 from 15 for him, and then of course the good hitting at the end from Sompal Kami, 25 from 14 he got, and that's what elevated the Nepal score past that 120 mark. And I think they'll be pretty happy. They've seen already that the ball is turning out there. They'll feel that if they can get some early wickets, then get the ball to turn a bit later on in the innings, they'll be able to put some pressure on the Zimbabwean batting lineup.
Bowling score. Yeah, 132. I'll be quite happy with how the first 16 overs went in the innings. Excellent finish there by Sompal Kami. And from the bowling department, well, it was Sean Williams and Wellington Mazakatsa who were leading from the front. It's two spinners. If anything, if that is any indication, very likely that Nepal will be bowling a lot more of spin than medium pace in the second innings. We're going to be back in about 10 minutes for the chase, and Zimbabwe will be looking for 133 for a win in the first game. You're watching live coverage from the Indian Association here in Singapore. We're going to be back shortly for the chase. All right, we're back with live action. Second innings, and the Zimbabweans are going to be chasing 133 for a win in match number 1. You're watching live coverage of the Singapore Tri-Nation T20I series brought to you by Instagram.
Brian Chari taking first strike for Zimbabwe. He's partnered by Regis Chakabva. Brian Chari, of course, joining the squad from Zimbabwe a couple of days ago. Wasn't part of the Tri-Series in Bangladesh. Short, pulled away, gone for 4. Authoritative shot from Brian Chari.
Fantastic, confident-looking start for the Zimbabweans here. 1 bounce over the boundary line and the first boundary of the innings for the Zimbabweans. Nepal will have to be on the mark right from the get-go because they don't have too much to defend. 133 is all that Zimbabwe need. Short ball. This time on the offside. Fantastic cut there. Found the gap to precision to the right, to the left of the backward point fielder, to the right of third man, and it's boundary number 2 in the first over. Brian Chari is well on his way.
Yeah, Brian Chari, talented cricketer. Any opportunity to score runs, he will not pass up on. Seen the pull shot a couple of balls ago. This time, conventional late cut behind point. Again, punched off the back foot by Brian Chari.
He's making this look easy. Brian Chari make that 3 in 3, a hat-trick of boundaries, and Zimbabwe are racing along. 12 for no loss with 2 balls to spare in the very first over. And suddenly Sompal Kami is under pressure.
Not the start that Nepal would have wanted. We were talking just before the break about what they would want to do. The first thing was definitely get early wickets, keep the Zimbabwean batsman as quiet as possible in this opening period. Fortunately, he's just been a bit too short on his length, Sompal Kami. Brian Chari has taken advantage of that. Again, wonderful fielding, certainly saved another boundary.
Well, he saved a boundary for sure, but Brian Chari, my word, is he looking good or what? Right out of the meat of the bat. Chakabva from the non-strikers end, best seat in the house. Chakabva had some useful contributions in Bangladesh, so he certainly is in good touch. So it's been 6 out of 6 on the shorter side from Sompal Kami, and a confident-looking Brian Chari has gotten 13 in the first over. Chakabva will be raring to go as well, Tino.
Absolutely. Talked about the surface and wanting or expecting the ball to come onto the bat with the seamers. That's definitely happened. You can see that from the strokes that Brian Chari played in that first over. So batting conditions will be good. Pretty sure when the spinners come on, expect the ball to continue turning. Possibly a little bit more than it did in that first innings.
No, you don't have to wait for too long. Guess what? It's Sandeep Lamachane with the ball in hand already. So he obviously hasn't taken too much time for Paras Kaka to realize that spin is the way to go. And after a very expensive first over, he brings on his ace spinner, It's going to be this man on your screen, Sandeep Lamichhane, who will have to do all the damage, get early breakthroughs if Nepal want to create any sort of opportunity for them to win this game. Paras Katka standing at first slip. Sandeep Lamichhane, easy to say that he's possibly Nepal's biggest cricket sensation. There you go. Spin right away for Sandeep Lamichhane. This is going to be a very interesting passage of play. Their best spinner against the top order of the Zimbabwean batting lineup.
Absolutely. A wonderful delivery on the mark straight away. Lamichhane, who's just returned from the Caribbean, where he was taking part in the Caribbean Premier League. But straight away, ball one. Good length, drawing the batsman forward, turning past the outside edge.
Yeah, it wasn't the best of seasons for the Barbados Tridents in the Caribbean Premier League for Sandeep Lamichhane's team, but he did his bit, was consistently amongst the wickets, as he always is. It doesn't matter whether it's the Indian Premier League or the Big Bash League in Australia or the Caribbean Premier League, Sandeep Lamichhane is always amongst the wickets. The big question is, can he trouble the Zimbabwean top order? Now, wayward from Lamichhane here, shot in the leg side. Difficult for the wicketkeeper on that occasion, and runs away for a much needed boundary here.
That's naughty from the keeper. He's not gone down the leg side to try and cover that ball if it goes past Regis Chakabva. Really expect that he would try and get his gloves behind there. He could have saved that boundary. We can't afford many at the moment, Nepal. Zimbabwe have got away to an absolute flyer. In the air and gone. He's just pushed at that Regis Chakabva, and it's carried. Good catch taken. We spoke about early wickets being the order of the day for Nepal. Good catch. And the first wicket falls.
Fantastic. This is exactly what Paras wanted from Sandeep. A little bit of air. And Regis Chakabva, ball number one, all he could do is manage to lob it straight to short cover. Excellent sharp catch there. And Nepal strike wicket number one. Excellent comeback here from Nepal. They will need to do this a lot more often if they're going to make a match of this, because Brian Chari at the non-strikers end is looking in fabulous touch. It was an erratic start by Sandeep Lamichhane, gifting 4 runs down the leg side, comes back very strongly with the wicket. And it's Mutambotsi, he is number 3 for Zimbabwe, another batsman who was amongst the runs in Bangladesh. So there are few who are there in that batting lineup who've all been in good touch in the recent past.
Absolutely. And a wonderful partnership with Ryan Burl in the first game in Dhaka in Bangladesh. Against Bangladesh. Oh, short. He's gone for the pull shot. It's held in the surface and it's gone past the keeper again. So that'll be 4 byes. And just what Nepal do not need at this stage.
Well, if there's one thing that's going to happen for sure, Sandeep Lamichhane is going to give the wicketkeeper the stare, because that should have been stopped by the keeper. He went down the leg side for the turn. Overs completed, 23 for 1 Zimbabwe, and a successful second over for Team Nepal, with Sandeep Lamichhane, their ace spinner, giving them the much needed opening breakthrough. What that means is that Nepal, very rightly so, will continue with spin. It's going to be the debutant Kushal Malla to be bowling left arm spin from the pavilion end. Debutant Kushal Malla. Going to be interesting to see how he goes about his proceedings. And he's going to be bowling to Brian Chavi. And Chavi continues where he left off at the end of the first over. Boundary of the first ball. Vacant mid-wicket region. And he takes the debutant to the boundary line in his first delivery.
This is a good shot from Brian Cherry, and he's looking to continue getting on with things. Not all that bad a delivery, to be honest. And he's just decided that he's going to get on with things, Brian Cherry.
He looked for that big one down the track. Missed out though. Pressure certainly on the debutant Kushal Malla.
It's a shot that he plays well. Likes to take the spinners on. Straight boundaries will be key for him, Brian Cherry.
Well, they certainly can afford to play some dot balls as well, because they've raced away to 27 in the first 15 deliveries. Well above the required run rate. Not much of foot movement though I can see from Brian Cherry, but he's happy to just tuck it away on the leg side.
He's not a big one in terms of foot movement, Brian Cherry, but what he does well is he waits for the ball to come to him. Plays the ball quite often right under his eyes. And that just helps him when he doesn't quite move his feet sometimes as well as he should.
And very impressive so far. He's obviously got his boundaries, but he's happy to play the dot balls as well. And we come to the end of a very decent over from Kushal Malla. First over, 3 overs completed, and Zimbabwe 27 for 1. Brian Cherry batting on 18. We're back live here for over number 4, and a remarkable catch there. Sandeep Lamichhane, guess what? Gets Mutambotsi or not. Fantastic, and Nepal are back in this game. How about that for a catch? Certainly the catch of the day so far.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Poor shot from Tino Mtombodzi. There was a man back at long off anyway. Not the shot you want to play when you haven't got any runs on the board. He goes for naught, 27 for 2, Zimbabwe.
No surprises that Sandeep Lamichhane is already into the thick of things. 2 wickets in just 7 deliveries, and he's brought Nepal right back in this.
It's a good call from the captain, Paras Khadka, straight away going to his best bowler. And the best bowler has answered the call. 2 really important wickets in his first couple of overs. Still 4 balls to go in this one. Wonderfully bowled. Drawing the batsman forward again and just getting enough turn past that outside edge.
It was a confident-looking Brian Chari for the first 15 deliveries, but suddenly it looks like he's under pressure, and that is the beauty of taking wickets, and that's what it can do to you. Suddenly, Sandeep Lamichhane has a spring in his stride. They got to be patient here, the Zimbabweans. They have to see this passage of play through. They need to see Sandeep through. What a catch, and that was from Ishan Pandey, the debutant. Excellent catch there. It was Mutambotsi reaching out for that one.
Good cricket. Well played by Brian Chari. You were just talking about his approach and how he was free-flowing earlier on in the innings. Now he's lost a couple of wickets at the other end, and he's got to take a rain check. He can't continue to play with the freedom that he was playing with earlier because they've lost those couple of wickets. He's joined at the crease now by the captain, Sean Williams. Played a hand in Zimbabwe's final game in Bangladesh to get across the line versus Afghanistan. Other than that, struggled throughout the series. We'll be looking to have a good start to this one. It's gone straight up in the air, and Sandeep Lamichhane has got another. It's the captain, Sean Williams, who goes, and at the moment, the Zimbabwean innings in tatters. The captain, Sean Williams, just faces one ball. He's gone for naught, and Zimbabwe now reduced to 28 for 3. Maruma. The beauty of T20 cricket. The score was 19 after the first 2 overs, eh?
From 19 for no loss at the end of the first 2 overs, Zimbabwe are now 28 for 3. Courtesy that man once again, Sandeep Lamichhane. Nepal's biggest cricket sensation. Boy, is he spinning a web on this Zimbabwean batting lineup. He's all over them at the moment, 7 for 3, and he hasn't even completed his second over. Suddenly this target of 133 looking a lot more difficult than we thought it would be. Down the leg side once again. No, you don't want to be erratic here. It's very difficult for the wicketkeeper. And it's the third boundary that's gone off Sandeep's bowling. So basically, those 12 runs that he's conceded have all come by virtue of byes because of the wicketkeeper.
A bit disappointing. Don't need that at this stage. And it's gone through the keeper again. Now, Lamichhane is not going to be happy here. And I'm just wondering if the keeper is actually struggling to read Lamichhane. End of the 4th over, 37 for 3.
Well, we're back live for over number 5, but that doesn't make for a pretty reading there for a Zimbabwean fan watching this. Sandeep Lamichhane is all over the Zimbabwean team at the moment. Barring Brian Chari, none of the other batsmen have managed to get off the mark. They're finding it absolutely impossible to play Sandeep Lamichhane at the moment. It's going to be Kushal Malla to continue from the pavilion end. Much better, more confident looking strike there. A direct hit. It has to be out. The umpire, yes, he raises his finger. And that's wicket number 4 for Nepal. Remarkable passage of play for Nepal here. And the only batsmen who look like getting some sort of runs will have to walk back to the pavilion. Have a look at that. They've been outstanding on the field. Directed, straight forward for the umpire. Took no time in raising his finger. Tino, what in the world is happening here?
Absolutely brilliant. From Nepal, 19 after the first couple of overs, and they looked like they had their backs against the wall at the moment, clawing back into this game. Brilliant piece of fielding for the direct hit to get rid of Brian Cherry, who was looking dangerous. He went for 19 from just 18 balls. Zimbabwe now 37 for 4.
Well, one thing's for sure, we certainly will have plenty of Nepali fans watching live coverage of this game. They follow their team very closely no matter where they play in the world. And this has been the story all along. Very often their batsmen let them down, but it's their bowlers and their fielders that fight back ever so often. And this has been an outstanding display of bowling and fielding by Nepal so far. It was a nothing shot from the captain, Sean Williams. He had a very ordinary toe to Bangladesh.
And got out in a very similar fashion in the first game there as well.
Talk us through this batting lineup. Do they have a decent middle order, does the Zimbabwean batting lineup, Tino?
They do indeed. A man who's on strike now, Timson Maruma, despite having a really good technique, has been in the runs. Had some good runs in the warm-up game in Bangladesh, but one who takes his time, plays good quality cricket strokes. Ryan Burl talked about good tour that he had in Bangladesh.
It's going to be
Neville
very...
Madziva, handy with the bat. But at the moment, Zimbabwe will feel that these two are going to have to score the majority of these remaining runs.
Was also going to be very interesting to see next over if Paras Katka would continue with Sandeep Lamichan. He's already done with 2 overs. Tino, what would you do if you were Paras?
It's important to still have that striking element later on in the innings. And I think he's come on, he's taken early wickets, he's done his job. You wouldn't want to out-bowl him now and not have somebody to strike for you at the end if you need wickets. 5 overs gone, 38 for 4.
Right, Tino, you said you were probably going to take the defensive approach, but guess what? Paras Katka throws the ball to Sandeep Lamichhane once again for over number 3. Have a look at those figures. 3 for 12. And not one of those 12 runs have come off the bat. And so he's almost been unplayable this evening as Sandeep Lamichhane. All eyes were going to be on him. He was the star attraction. And boy, has he lived up to his name or what. He's brought Nepal right back in this game.
Paras Katka obviously going for the kill. Timson Maruma playing the reverse sweep on that last occasion. And I'm pretty sure the conversation with Ryan Burl will be, let's try and play this guy straight, see him out. And we know we don't have such a prolific spinner to have to deal with throughout the rest of the innings. You don't want to be getting out to him playing a reverse sweep.
And we saw that in the previous over with Kushal Malla bowling from the pavilion, and they seemed to be a lot more comfortable playing him. It obviously didn't do as much off the pitch as it is doing for Sandeep Lamichhane, and that's why he poses such a threat.
Plays the conventional sweep this time. Good work. Saving
Couple of runs there. Abhinash Buhara.
We haven't seen Bora with the ball. Like I mentioned, Slinga Malinga is who he's going to remind you of. Loves bowling those Yorkers, slingy action, but with spinners getting so much of purchase and assistance, probably won't see too much of Karan Casey, Avinash Bora and Sompal Kami.
Definitely favouring the slower bowlers, the surface. That is something that did mention before the game started, that just looks like a surface that provides some grip and some good turn for the spinners, and it's done exactly that. Looking to cut that away, Ryan Burl. The googly to finish the 6th over. End of the power play, Zimbabwe 39 for 4.
Well, right back live here with pictures from the Indian Association here in Singapore. You're watching game number 1 of the Singapore Tri-Nations T20I series, brought to you by Instarem. Match number 1 featuring Zimbabwe and Nepal. For those of you just tuning in, quick recap. Zimbabwe bowled first. Paras Katka won the toss, opted to bat first. They managed 132. Chasing 133, it's been all Sandeep Lamichhane in the second innings. 3 wickets in his first 3 overs, and Zimbabwe are in a spot of bother. 39 for 4 at the end of the power play. And Zimbabwe have 97 to get in the 14 overs that they have remaining. And there's a change in the bowling as well. It's going to be Karan Casey from the pavilion end.
Good running by the Zimbabweans. This is going to be, as you were talking about, Navneet, a rebuilding phase. Both batsmen at the crease, very capable, but will not be able to play with the freedom that they would have liked or normally do because of the situation that the team is in. 40 for 4 after an explosive start from Brian Chari, actually perished for 19. Just be a period where Zimbabwe batsmen at the crease at the moment, Ryan Will, Timson Maruma, just have to bide their time, get a partnership going.
And what's important for them to note is that it's okay to have a few quiet overs. The run rate isn't of any concern at the moment. It's around a run a ball at the moment, and you obviously know that you can fancy yourself in the latter half of the innings to go for the big ones. So they want to rotate. They want to see some of these spinners through at the moment. Slow one from Karan Casey, was dying on the batsman there. Did well to keep it off the stumps. Just the single for for Ryan Burl, and he brings Maruma back on strike.
I think you'll find on this surface, in particular, that when the seamers are on, the ball's coming onto the bat, it's a lot easier to bat. Saw the left arm spinner come on, didn't get the purchase that Lamichhane is getting. So it's a case of, listen guys, yes, the spinners are getting the ball to talk. Lamichhane has only got 1 over left. Whether he's going to bowl that just now remains to be seen. But if he does, let's play him out. Yes, they do have other spinners, but they're not going to be the same threat that Lamichhane has been. Lots of cricket under Timson Maruma's belt. Ryan Burl, lesser experienced at this level, but enough first-class cricket to understand that.
The Singapore cricket team will certainly be watching this game very closely, and possibly a few things that they already will take back. And the big takeaway takeaway certainly is the fact that there's plenty of purchase and assistance for the spinners. And that is something that we will probably see a lot more of going into this tournament. There still is plenty of bounce for the medium pacers, but pretty much little to no lateral movement at all off the pitch, so making it a lot easier for the batsman, Dino. 7 overs completed, Zimbabwe 42 for 4.
Remember guild level? Oh, guild level 2 coming. Last arrows of मेरे कितने हैं यहाँ पे?
So it does look like Paras Katka is going to save the final over of Sandeep Lamminchene for later in the innings. It's going to be the vice captain to bowl some off spin. Dipendra Singh Airi comes on. Very good contribution with the bat earlier on today. And he's a very handy bowler as well. Always in the thick of things, Dipendra Singh Airi. Maroma happy to start off with a single.
It won't be easy for Zimbabwe to go on from this to get across the line. It'll be a good test of the remaining batsman's character. We talked about the two at the crease right now, Maroma and Ryan Burl. Richmond Mutumbami next in. I wouldn't say accomplished in terms of his place in the side, just coming back into the team after a good domestic season. Got an important half century in Bangladesh in the third T20 international. I feel that he will have to carry a lot of this load as well, the runs remaining to get for Zimbabwe to get across the line.
It's been a quiet passage of play thus far in the last 3 overs. But there was an excellent cover drive there, goes past the short cover fielder and to the longer side of the ground, and a comfortable 2 for Ryan Burl. And this is exactly the order of play right now. This is what Zimbabwe need. They would want to just rotate strike, keep the scoreboard ticking. Just when I say that, Ryan Burl decides to be a little adventurous, Dino.
It's not a shot I've seen him play a lot. Obviously, has the confidence, believes that he can play it well enough. Again, Ryan Burl, this time in between the keeper and Paras Katka at first slip and goes to the boundary for 4.
We've seen 5 boundaries go past the keeper. That's 20 out of the 49 runs for Zimbabwe. They obviously aren't going to be complaining.
Better from Ryan Burl. End of the 8th over, 50 for 4.
James चाहिए ना bro.
Current Casey to continue from the pavilion end. Tucked away by Ryan Burl. Looks like that was another slower ball. It looks like he's using a fair amount of these slower balls. Nav, pace of the ball, making it difficult for the batsman to get momentum into the shot.
He's probably realized that the slower you bowl, the more purchase you get from this wicket. We saw the assistance that the spinners got, and Karan Casey is trying to replicate the same, mixing it up. Short on this occasion. Maruma couldn't do much. Climbing on the batsman. 51 for 4. We're into the 9th over. It's probably advantage Nepal at the moment, but difficult to pick a winner. Difficult to pick one team, you have to say. Anybody's game from here on.
Tucked away fine by Simpson Maruma. Just be the single. Really like the character of the Nepal side. Didn't get the runs that they felt they should have got. Didn't have a good start to the batting innings. Finished it off well. Gave themselves a fighting chance, but they needed to start the bowling innings extremely well as well. Went for a few runs in the first couple of overs. Lamichani coming in, getting wickets for his captain at a crucial stage, pegging Zimbabwe back. Looking for the quick single. Sides against it. Simpson Maruma.
On a slightly different note, credit to the Singapore Cricket Association for making this happen, to bringing all the 3 teams here. Despite the busy schedules of each of these teams, making this happen over the course of a week. Credit to the Singapore Cricket Association in conducting this tournament. And while I say that, an excellent cover drive from Ryan Burl finds the gap on the offside, and a much needed boundary for Zimbabwe.